Now, once you have your name all put together and you have nice clean lines and you have erased the line in the middle of your letters and whatever your word is, whether it's your name or something else, once it looks nice and clean, you're ready to add your orthogonal lines. If yours looks more like this, then you should really consider going back and trying again. There's a couple reasons. One reason is that this one is way too close to the horizon line. If your name is on the horizon line, you've gotta try again. Maybe move your horizon line down if your word looks really nice, but if you don't have enough space between your name and your horizon line, you're gonna have some real issues. All right, so here's mine. When we make the orthogonal lines, I always like to start with whichever letter is closest to the vanishing point. Now, your vanishing point, you may have put right in the center of your horizon line. That's what I did. So here's my vanishing point. So for me, the letter that is closest to my vanishing point is probably going to be the S, since it's right above the vanishing point. The reason you want to start with the letter that is closest to the vanishing point is because you will probably have letters that are going to overlap each other. And if you start with the one that's closest to the vanishing point first, then you will be able to overlap the other ones much more easily than if you started from the outside and had to go back and erase things. You'll understand once you start doing it. So here I have an S, which is curves. So I'm going to put my straight edge on my vanishing point and move it toward my S until it touches that curve. And that's where I know the orthogonal line should go. I am drawing my orthogonal line super duper lightly because I'm not going to keep the entire thing. When we were making your shapes in perspective, you may have noticed that you have these orthogonal lines that are going all the way to the vanishing point, and then when we drew the back of the shapes, you ended up having to either ignore those lines or erase them. All right, here is the first instance of me having some overlapping going on. Now I'm going with my vertices here, this corner, toward the vanishing point, because we know that orthogonal lines always go to the vanishing point. And so I'm going to line it up. We also know that orthogonal lines are always straight lines. So if I make this line, it's going to run into my S, but I can't go around. So what you do is you start your orthogonal line, and then as soon as you touch something else, you stop. Now it looks like it's going off behind, like you've got some overlapping going on. Same thing here. Awesome. Now I need this curve here. Very nice. So make sure that you have found all of the sides of your curves and all of your corners, and make sure that you don't draw lines through your letter. So I'm not going to make one from here. So there's my S. Now you could put in all your orthogonal lines first and then go back and put the back of your shape, or you can finish each one individually. I'm going to finish this one real quick just to show you something. So the front of my S has a curve down here at the bottom, so the back of my S is also going to have a curve at the bottom. Okay, now that curve is now showing me how much depth we want to show with our letters. So my orthogonal line is about this long. That means I want each of my orthogonal lines to be about that long. And so that would put this one kind of here, and it's got a curve like a J almost. So I'm going to try to copy that. Now your back of your shape doesn't have to be that far back. You can actually make it pretty close. Just match the front with the back. And we are going to be erasing the orthogonal lines that are going all the way to the vanishing point. So you might as well get rid of those now, once you've done the back of your shape. Remember, whatever's happening in the front, you're going to mimic it on the back. Check your angles. The front of your shape should be parallel with the back of your shape. There we are. Now, the reason I started with my S is because I know that my R over here is going to wreck into my S just a little bit. Probably not on this corner. Interior corners count. Ah, here it is. So make sure that from this corner of my R, I don't draw a line through my S. Now, for this one, I've done this slightly differently. I did not draw my orthogonal lines all the way to the vanishing point. You could draw them part way to the vanishing point, that way you have less to erase, but I would only do this if you feel very confident that you've got this whole thing down. So now I'm gonna match my front with my back. Front is horizontal, back needs to also be horizontal. This one is vertical, so the back of it should be vertical. And then I've got this curve happening here. And now this is where we kind of guess a little bit. So my orthogonal lines are about that long. So this one should match. So honestly, this one is too far toward the vanishing point. Do you see how long the orthogonal line is here? So this curve right here needs to go up. Probably means that this guy isn't completely vertical. That's a little better. Some of your letters might look a little bit off. They might look a little bit weird. But honestly, I would finish all of them before you decide that they're terribly wrong. Because they might just look off because you're not used to seeing them three-dimensionally. Now I'm gonna go work on my M. This one should be nice and easy because it's all corners, no curves. Alrighty, yeah, let's check this curve here. That's all I got. Can't really see this side. Okay, now my M. If you want your orthogonal lines to all be equal, you could make a measurement on your straight edge like this. And so what I'll do is I'll line up my corner with that little measurement, and I'll make each of my orthogonal lines exactly as long as that little measurement. See? Take your time on this, make it look nice. Come to tutoring if you are lost or confused.